Hello everyone, my name is Mojis. You're watching a Bitcoin Bubble news channel. I believe it is very clear that interest rates will likely be lowered soon. Nearly 100,000 Bitcoin have been taken off of exchanges in the last 30 days, including 54,000 Bitcoin from Kraken and 25,000 Bitcoin from Coinbase. The supply of Ethereum on exchanges has also hit an 8-year low, and 34 ETFs now hold more than 1 million Bitcoin, with BlackRock holding the most with over 300 Bitcoin. With blue-chip AI company NVIDIA having a successful stock split and Apple announcing their continued foray into the AI space, Bitcoin and the whole crypto market are ready to pop. Why? Because the Fed is about to put a lot of money into crypto and other risky investments. Guys, hit the like button and help the station out. Let's talk about how much Bitcoin costs and the crypto markets. What will happen next? This week, the Fed is going to meet. Rate cuts have been planned for all year. That hasn't happened yet. Is it possible that the Fed will lower rates this week? Well, Vegas odds say that's only about 2.2% likely to happen, which is less than the 70% chance it had earlier this year. The chief information officer of Swan Bitcoin tells us exactly what to expect at this week's Fed meeting. Pay attention to what he says. This week, the Fed is meeting, which is a pretty big deal. What do you think will happen this week, and how does that change your view on Bitcoin? Yeah, I think it's pretty clear that rate cuts are probably going to happen at some point. Just look at what happened in Europe, right? That's the way Europe was going, and I think that's what will happen in the end. It's always hard to tell when things will happen at the Fed, right? Looking back to 2020, they took a strong stand that, as Paul said, they wouldn't even think about raising rates, and we all know how that turned out. Yes, I think the Fed will be the same. They are going to say that nothing is going to change and that everything is going to be safe and predictable, but we know that's not going to happen. Money policy is not steady and can't be predicted. That's the only thing we know for sure. There is a very small chance that rates will go down in June. It's not likely that rates will go down in July. Near the start of the year, these both had good chances. Most people don't think about these rate cuts as much as they did at the start of the year. That doesn't mean they won't happen, though. There is a 50% chance that rates will go down in September. You could say it's a little more than a coin toss. A quarter-point rate cut by the September 17th or 18th Fed meeting is a 50.5% chance, while a 50 basis rate cut is only a 4% chance. November, the chances get better. There is a 64.4% chance that the rate will be cut by a quarter point by the November 6th meeting, which ends 2 days after the U.S. election. By then, there's a 17% chance that the rate will be cut by 50 basis points. The Federal Reserve will hold its last meeting of the year on December 17th and 18th. There is an 86.3% chance that the Fed will lower interest rates. As we near the end of the year, the Fed is going to cut interest rates one after the other, which will catch the U.S. markets by surprise. This is exactly how politician and businessman Anthony Scaramucci felt and what he thought in our conversation a few days ago. You need to get ready for this. Bitcoin will go over $100,000 and other coins will go up a lot. I've always thought that rates would go down by 2 or even 3 times. And people think I'm crazy because we went from cutting rates 7 times to cutting them by none. I think that one rate cut is now the agreed upon choice. But I really believe it will be one. That's what I think. Yes, I think that's true. I believe they will arrive in October, November, or December. I think the Fed will move 25 basis points at a time by the end of the year, because if they don't, they'll be behind the curve. The economy is getting worse. The home market data that came out was just shown to you. The market for homes is slowing down. There are fewer refinancings and more mortgage applications. And housing is still a big part of American life, whether we like it or not. I'd also like to tell your viewers and listeners that small businesses in the United States build jobs. Most of the time, big businesses don't make jobs. In terms of limits, they stay pretty much the same. There are more jobs because of small businesses, and 60% of small businesses are connected to homes in the U.S. Just walk down the main street in your town. You'll see a hardware shop, a guy who works with sheetrock, and a plumber. All of them are there. There's a bank there that gives people mortgage loans for their homes. On that block, there are real estate agents. They sell property and casualty insurance, as well as fire insurance for your house. If you look closely, about 60% of it is made up of insurance agents, and when the housing market slows down, it hurts those small companies. The Fed knows this because of this. I also think the Fed will begin lowering rates. Will inflation be close to 2%? I'm going to tell you something. It's already true. People who watch or listen to your show should go to trueflation.com or trueflation.com. In turn, that is a dispersed collection of price information from all over the US. Also, you can see that the number is about 2.3%. So why does the government give a different number? You know what they say. There are lies, Aaron, and there are damn lies. Facts and figures back this up. So there are lies, damn lies, and facts. These numbers can be skewed by the government in any way they choose, and they change what goes in. That's why we don't think it shows the drop correctly. It's a measure that comes after the fact, like the CPI numbers, and we think there will be a bigger drop. Because of this, I think the rates will go down. You get lower rates. Bitcoin is going to cry. Risk assets are going to tear up. And I don't even think the prices are too high. A lot of good things are happening in the business, and most people are making good money. That's 3 rate cuts tear up Bitcoin and other risky investments. By the end of the year, Bitcoin will be worth more than $100,000. That's what I really think. Guys, don't forget to buy your Bitcoin Nashville 2024 tickets by the end of July. 10% off every day with the code altcoin. The people listed below will be speaking there. The world's largest Bitcoin meeting is taking place in Nashville, which is a beautiful city. 10% off every day with the code altcoin. And the truth is that Bitcoin is about to blow up. Demand is very high and availability is very low. Rates are likely to be lowered more than once before the end of the year. All risky assets will blow up because of this. Along with the US election, Bitcoin and Ethereum are now finally wanted and accepted by business and government. Altcoin Daily has movies every day that will help you stay focused and up to date. Give the pros your attention. Pay attention to the people who work in the field and study this every day. It's clear what's going to happen like this. Pay attention. What is moving things in general, given that we had 2 big events that sparked Bitcoin, the split and the launches of the ETFs. Those events are now kind of behind us. As you said, I think that if we look back at the big events of this year, the ETF is still by far the most important one, at least in terms of what it means for Bitcoin in the long run. Okay, let's look at things in a bigger picture. If we look at how much Bitcoin was held in ETFs, we can see that BlackRock and Fidelity, 2 big financial companies, are buying more than 1 million Bitcoin. That's something to think about. When I told you a year ago that we were going to have an ETF, I meant that we would have one. I also meant that 5 months after the ETF launches, there will be 1 million Bitcoin sitting in the ETFs for clients from these institutions. People would think you're crazy. Okay, and the gates are wide open. That's been taking place. This is by far the best start for an ETF that we've ever seen. The same way we all worry about new technologies when they first come out. But in the end, people really get behind the idea when they see how valuable it is, not just from the point of view of asset allocation, as I said, but also from the point of view of what it really means as a saves technology for the world. And I'm also beginning to see a lot of that from organizations. They used to see Bitcoin as a way to trade, right? They looked at the price and thought, oh, that's where the price is, I'm going to trade it for it. It's now being thought about more deeply. Okay, so where do I put this in our portfolio? Does it fit in with real estate, long-term investments, and hard assets like gold? If so, that clearly shows